Hey everybody, I'm Tarl Yarber with Fixated Real Estate, and we're here once again at the BP Live. Today, I want to show you guys a property that I've been working on for the last few months. This is a flip. However, one of the challenges with what's been going on in the world today is that some properties in certain neighborhoods just aren't selling. And this was the only house I had during the shutdown that had me really, really worried about what was going to go on in the world. What was happening and if this house was really going to sell. And the reason for that was that this is a higher price point property in Seattle, Washington. We've had a number of houses that we put on the market over the last couple months, even during the shutdown with COVID, and they've sold super fast, way over asking. And this one particular house was a little bit of a higher price point, and I was very worried that maybe the higher price point houses might not sell. And sure enough, this house right now is not selling. And I need your guys' help to find out, why is it not selling? If you've had these same issues going on in your neighborhoods and in your projects as well, should you be even selling right now? And I want to do a full case study for you guys on this property from start to finish, the numbers, how we rehab it. This was a $175,000 rehab, so this was not a small project by any means whatsoever. So first and foremost, let's jump into it. Let me show you what it looks like on Zillow right now. This is a live property currently. So let me share my screen and show you what it looks like on Zillow at this exact moment. So this is the address. This is the real house. You can look it up today and check it out. If you see right here at the top, it shows a price cut of $25,000. We just reduced the price a couple days ago. It was originally listed for $900,000. This is a neighborhood of Seattle, Washington. And I'll show you guys quickly where it is in Seattle, Washington, so that you guys can get an idea of where we're talking about and why it actually is in a very good neighborhood of this area. So Seattle looks like this, right? So here's Seattle in this area. This is an area called West Seattle. It's actually North Admiral. This is a very prestigious, very nice part of Seattle. And there's so many great walking areas around here. You got markets in this area. You have nice big Hiawatha playfield. This is, if you know Seattle at all, this is in a fantastic, fantastic place to be. But we also have this bridge. This is the only entrance to West Seattle, and I'm going to get into that in a second and what has happened with this property because of that bridge and because of COVID and what's been going on. So we listed this house for $900,000. We actually believe that it would probably sell for $925 to $950 and go over asking, because a lot of things have been doing that. If you look at the comps in the area, it shows that the house is worth more than $900,000. So we just figured let's list it for $899.95 just to be able to get it a chance to get sold quickly on the market as fast as possible and just get it off the books and be done with. Now, the pictures, this is what it looks like afterwards. It's nice on the outside, and I'll show you the before photos here soon. But look at the inside. We really remodeled the whole thing. Beautiful fireplace. It's a Craftsman home. We kept all the great finishes that we could to make it continue to be a Craftsman. The kitchen's a little smaller than we wanted it to be, but it's the best we could with this square footage and what the plan was. It's kind of a fun story with this little bump out here that I'll tell you guys later, but this is not a cabinet. This is actually a door to the basement that you'll be able to see later. That is actually hidden inside of a cabinet. Not saying that you have to go in there to get into the basement. It's so that you can actually walk out of the basement from below. And I'll show you a photo in a second of what that looks like. This is the main floor bathroom. This is one of the main 2 bedrooms on the main floor. This is the master suite up top. We put a mini split in there for AC. Go figure, depending on where you are in the world, not every place has air conditioning. So in Seattle, Washington, the Pacific Northwest, actually very few houses actually have air conditioning because it doesn't usually get hotter than more than 75 to 80 degrees in the summer. So it's kind of special to have AC. So we put a mini split in there instead. Big walk-in closet, vaulted ceilings, can lights throughout, beautiful master bath. There's the walk-in closet, beautiful master bath. You don't see it, but there's a skylight right up here too. So we totally decked it out. This is the basement. It was an unfinished basement when we bought it. We fully finished it out and made it look nice and pretty. And then part of it, we did not finish out this back area. There's this door that I mentioned earlier. So if you see this little bump out here, that's a little nook area where your head goes into because you walk up to get out to the basement. That's actually where the kitchen cabinets are. So we built around it and put a countertop on it so that it looks kind of better, I guess. Backyard, not as big as you want, but this is downtown Seattle and so forth. So let me unshare my screen here and get back to talking to you guys. So the house looks beautiful, right? So it's a great looking house. No big, nothing really concerning about it at all. But why is it not selling, right? We've had plenty of people go to the project. We've had lots of people look at it despite the shutdown. We even have a 3D tour of Matterport that you can use so you can walk around it. Other houses in that area also aren't selling, and we could not figure out why that was, right? But let me show you guys some of the photos of this property. So let me go back to sharing my screen. And this is what it looked like before we bought it. And let me go back to, here we go, exterior photos. So before we bought it, it was a full rehab. And let me get the pictures up. Here we go. So this is the exterior of the building right here. And big, huge laurel bush in front of it. The neighborhood isn't so bad, but the house is pretty much the only house in the neighborhood that doesn't look so good. One negative, which might be a reason why it's not selling, if you guys see here, this is a shared garage. So one half of it is the neighbor, the other half is ours. We did fully rehab that, so it does look a lot better now. And it's got cedar shake siding. It had that, like it's old windows. So there was a good amount of rehab. And like I mentioned earlier, we put $175,000 into this project, including putting a brand new sewer system into the project as well. So one key point I want you guys to notice when I'm going through this is that we're taking lots and lots of photos before we even start the project. So this is a couple months ago, and we still have 100+ photos every single week, so we can go through this. So I highly encourage everybody, if you've seen any of my videos in the past, continue to take lots of photos, as many photos as possible of your project before, during, and after, because you might really want them later in life. So now interior wise, let me show you guys what that looks like. So interior of the house, when we bought it, it was just a lived in, somebody lived in it, dated 1912's Craftsman house, right? You can see some of my team members. I actually did not walk this house before I bought it. That's what I have the team members for. And it's kind of a fun thing to do, to buy houses and not actually be the one walking them. And if you want to learn more about that, let me know in your questions and stuff, and we can go over those processes. But you can see carpet throughout. The doors were pretty good. Bathrooms dated. We updated all that, right? I'm just going to go through these quickly so you can get an idea, because we took 140 photos. So you get an idea that it's not the most updated property, but it's also not too bad. And in our neighborhood of Seattle, you kind of have to deck these things out. So we put all brand new electrical. We put brand new plumbing throughout it. This upstairs, this is where that master bedroom was. And I'll show you schematics here in a second. This was that bathroom that you guys saw. That was a master suite. We completely updated that, made it look a lot better. The downstairs basement was all messed up, but you guys get the idea. Just a dated house, and it didn't have everything we wanted it to have. So when it came to the actual floor plan, though, this is what the main floor looked like before we bought it. And you can see here, this is the main entrance. This is the living room area, right? Kitchen, a little close. In the early 1900s, they liked to segment all their properties. So as far as from dining room, kitchen, that kind of stuff. So we opened this area up later. Bathroom we kept the same, and this area we kept the same. The upstairs was just one big open master bedroom. So it had a huge walk-in closet, huge, and a master suite, and then this big, huge master bedroom. So it was just a big open area. We needed to get another bedroom in there because this needed to be a 4-bedroom house, right? And the basement really didn't have anything. You just went down these stairs here, and you turned right. It just had kind of an open area that was not finished. It was all cement-wise. They kind of used it as finished space, but it was mostly cement. And then in this area over here was not finished at all in this section. So what did we do? And if you're wondering what program we're using on this, it's called Home Design Pro. It's actually really cheap, really affordable. And if you don't know how to use it, you can go on Upwork.com and so forth and hire people to do it for you. And it's actually really, really cheap. So this is the main living area when you walk into the house. We actually opened up the kitchen. So if you remember the main area here, this is what it used to look like. So enclosed area. And then this is what we turned it into. We opened up the kitchen here. We had to leave a beam here because it was a load bearing area. But we actually ended up finding out a way to get rid of that post and just carry an entire beam here instead. But we opened up the kitchen, and the bathroom and the living room and all this kind of area all stayed the same. But the upstairs is where we did most of the big changing. So if you looked at the upstairs, used to look like this. Nice big open area, bathroom and so forth. Now it looks like this, right? You go up the stairs. We actually added a window over here and over here too to give it more lighting. This became a bedroom, so like a kid's room, so maybe a nursery, right, is what could be used there. And we moved the closet over here, shrunk this area a bit, so that way we can have more of a master walk-in suite, Jack and Jill, right? And a nice big walk-in closet in this area, linen closet, and it just functions a lot better. The basement, if you remembered, it was pretty basic, right? There wasn't much going on in it. So we switched it out to where we finished out this whole area and made it really, really nice. And then we made a mudroom area that was fully finished. And the rest of this, we actually ended up carrying the entire wall over to here. We didn't update the plans. But the rest of this, in this section, we left unfinished, right? Because it was useless space. And also the ceiling height was a little too low to be able to make it a legal finished basement. So that said, let me show you guys some numbers now and what we ended up buying the property for. So we ended up buying it, you guys see in this section, we ended up buying it for $541,000. This is our purchase price. We put 175 into it, and at the time, we believed our ARV would be 900 grand at a minimum, but we actually thought it would sell for 925 plus, right? And so, but 900 was like, okay, if it sells for 900, we're good. It's a good deal. Let's buy it. But there's a good chance it'll sell for 925 to 950 pre-COVID. So pre-COVID, we bought this property back in November, and we figured perfect timing wise, we'd be selling it in the spring, going into the summer, and it's going to be an incredible time for us to sell because in the Seattle market, spring and summer is like one of the best times to sell ever, right? And in most neighborhoods, most markets as well. So we figured out a 6-month hold time. Right now, we're at 6 months exactly into this project. We finished up the project, the rehab, in about 4 months. This is our holding costs for money-wise, $56,000 a year, which equals out to be about $4,700 a month, give or take. These are our closing costs. We pay 2.3% in closing costs. That includes a 1.78% excise tax in the state of Washington. Not every state has that. We do. We also don't have state income tax. That's why we pay that. And then we pay a 4% commission because I have a partner on this deal and he happens to be the realtor as well. So we're reducing that. So that left a projection of $116,000 of profit right into it. Now, I don't analyze a deal with these numbers here. I analyze my deals with no holding costs at all. So I'm actually looking at this number, this 20.1%. If it's over 20% or has a chance to go over 20% realistically, then I'm going to do the deal, right? Especially if it's a flip. Now, if it's sold for 900, which is what we thought the minimum sale price was going to be, then it was a 16.9% margin deal. Now, my minimum is 15%. If it's 20% plus, I'm going to buy it, right? And especially if it has a good shot. So this met both requirements. It was willingness to take the risk. The rehab wasn't too complicated for us. I had a partner in the deal that was amazing construction and so forth that I knew that he can do the deal and run the crews and stuff. And we were just 50-50 partners in it. So we put up all the cash. We put up a lot of the systems and processes and stuff. He helped read the property, plus also put in a ton of all the work for the construction because he's amazing at what he does. And in return, we split the deal 50-50, right? But we're also now sharing the losses potentially 50-50. So we just lowered the price down to $875. And actually, before I do that, let me go back to my holding cost, right, as well. Holding cost, put that back in there. There's my holding cost. So we listed it. We now have it down to $875. If it sells for $875, we still get $70K, right? So what's my break even on this? My break even on this property is about $815 roughly, if I remember correctly. And if it sells for $815, no, it's 13 grand. So let me go back down some more. So it's 805. Sounds about right. So there's roughly my break even, right? We could still drop the property another 70 grand and still walk away without losing money, right? Now this might go to 7 months though, or more in holding time. And now all of a sudden I lost $1,000. So why is this house not selling? That's the question, right? That is the biggest question. So let's go back to this picture here of the map, right? This is one of our theories. Number one theory, right? COVID. Maybe people don't want $900,000 houses. And if you have suggestions, let us know. I'm monitoring the feeds here. We'll go into that, right? So $900,000 house. How hard is it right now to get a jumbo loan, right? If you're following the market and as far as the mortgages are concerned, jumbo loans are very challenging to get right now. They're almost completely gone, right? So if you're in that higher price point, those people have to have cash or huge down payments. In our neck of woods of Seattle, I believe a jumbo loan doesn't really hit a jumbo loan to like 700 and something thousand, 725, 750. if I remember correctly. So if somebody's putting 10% down or 20% down on this property, they still qualify that, which they would probably have to for a jumbo loan anyways, even at that purchase price. So we're still in the clear there technically, right? But still a high price point for that. But it's not a high price point for this area. It's actually a medium high price point for this particular area. So why else is it not selling? Well, we got screwed, right? So screw you, Seattle, right? And city council. I hate every one of you. So this is a bridge right here in West Seattle. That is the main entrance to this area. If you go down here, the only other way to get down into West Seattle is this little road right here that's at the bottom. So you either get access to it from this main bridge, or you come down south and come over to this area, which if you imagine the traffic, it's insane once we open back up to be able to get into this area just from this bridge. And if you work in Seattle, this was so easy, such an easy commute to do that. Well, West Seattle Bridge just got shut down, right? So they shut it down during the COVID shutdown. And then because Seattle has been misappropriating funds, in my opinion, as far as council members are concerned, they weren't repairing the bridge. So after it got shut down, it got inspected. And now they're saying, oh, this bridge is pretty bad, right? So let's not open it up until 2021, right? Potentially. Well, there's a lot of people fighting for that because you basically just reduced the hell out of the real estate market in the North Admiral District of West Seattle, which is one of the highest price points of West Seattle, just because they shut this bridge down because Seattle doesn't know how to get their crap together. So that said, that came out right when we were about to get an offer on the property. So the Seattle Times put out an article the day that we were getting an offer sent in, and that article said, West Seattle Bridge probably gonna be shut down until 2021 or longer because whatever, right? Because Seattle's dumb. And that then led to them pulling the offer immediately because they're like, what the hell? So COVID, thank you, appreciate you very, very much. And then secondly, now all of a sudden West Seattle Bridge shut down. So are those the two reasons, right? Maybe it's because of the shared driveway. Not everybody likes that, but it's not uncommon in Seattle to have a shared driveway. It's definitely not the price point. Now it might be. So what would you do if this was the case? So I have more stuff I could show you guys, but let's open it up to some questions, right? And if you want to unshare the screen. So you said so one of the questions here, what about the jobs uncertainty? Is this let's see, BQ says, what about the job uncertainty? Is this overall inventory high? Are people staying put, right? Hey, great question. In the Seattle market, the jobs are predominantly tech. However, we do have Boeing here based out of here. Boeing is making an announcement that they're even thinking about laying off up to 700,000 people right now, which is insane. Unemployment is ridiculously high as well, but also in this particular parts of Seattle, there's also a lot of, UW still hired as well, and which is one of the number one employers. And we have a lot of tech in the area as well. So yes, could that be a factor? But why are other houses selling? They're not selling in West Seattle right now, not as much as we thought, because since they shut the West Seattle Bridge down, we think one of the biggest factors is going to be the West Seattle Bridge that is definitely messing us up. But of course, right, COVID for sure has issues creating into this market. But interest rates are so low right now. So I guess one thought process is if you are looking to upgrade your house, do you have to upgrade your house, right? A $900,000 house is technically not an upgrade in the Seattle market. It's kind of like one of those, like not a starter home, it's probably a second home or a second time home buyer type price point in that area if you want to live in West Seattle. And so it's priced correctly there. But that's one thought. I don't know, right? And that's what we're trying to figure out. Do we keep dropping the price as fast as possible, or do we hold on to it for a little bit longer and wait for the market the economy to open back up? Our holding cost on it's only $4,800 a month. So do we dramatically drop the price again, or do we just wait a little bit, another month or two, and see what happens? Right? We have time, right, on our end. 2 more months is another 10 grand, but dropping the price 50 grand in fear, is that the right thing? I don't know. Or if we wait too long to drop the price, then are we out even more because we also have the holding costs? And that's one of the biggest challenges that most investors face sooner or later in their career. COVID or no COVID, right? This is something that happens to a lot of real estate investors at some point. It's a big question. Do you drop the price? Do you not drop the price? Is it the marketing? Is it something else? Did you just suck at the rehab, right? Is there something you're not seeing? What kind of feedback can you get from other agents that are viewing it? Is it the shared driveway? Is it not, right? Maybe the paint color sucks. Who knows? All right, so I'm not gonna post some of these comments, but I do agree with some of these comments that are coming through. All right, what else we got? You said other properties aren't selling as well. What conditions are those properties in? I'm wondering if That's a good question. All right. So forgive me, Shada, I believe that's your name. My name's Tarl. People mess up my name all the time, so I have an excuse if I mess up somebody else's name. So forgive me if I mess up yours. So you said the other properties aren't selling well as well. What condition are those properties in? I'm wondering if your project is over rehabbed. That's a great question. I'm only asking because you guys did an awesome job on the rehab. Thank you so much. So I want to go into this a little bit more detail. Can you over rehab a house? Yes, totally. How do you not over rehab a house? Well, one of the main ways to not over rehab a house is to look at your comps, right? What do your comparables say in your market? If you have a house, if all your comps have Formica countertops and sheet vinyl flooring and brass finishes everywhere, and it looks a little dated, and they're all selling for the price point you want, then does that mean you should put granite and quartz in, put in all brushed nickel, and put in hardwood floors throughout? No, you probably shouldn't. That would be over rehabbing the house for sure. You can also over rehab the house by doing too many bedrooms. Just because a house has 6 bedrooms doesn't mean it's worth more than a house that has 4 bedrooms, depending on your market and where you're at. Just because a house is 2,000 square feet and all your comps in the area are 1,600 square feet does not mean your house is worth more than those other houses, depending on your community and your area and your neighborhood. So there is a top price to every neighborhood that you got to watch out for, no matter how big and beautiful the house is. This particular house, maybe it's my ego on the side, but we've done a lot of research on it. It is rehab exactly how it needs to be rehabbed for that particular neighborhood in that market. I would have done a few more things on the outside to maybe spruce it up a little bit better, even do it more of a modern railing on the front door, which we can go back to later if people are interested in that. But that's probably the only thing I could think of that we would have done differently on the rehab. Other than that, I think it's priced right, and I think that it's the rehab was done very, very well for that area. Considering that most houses, when you have a 1912 house, you kind of have to update the heck out of it because they haven't been updated for years and years and years. So good question. All right, what else we got? Is that SketchUp from Jim B? So I guess that is a question on how we did our as-builts and our proposed plans. Right, if you want to go back to sharing my screen when it looks like this. So this is our as-built for the property. This is actually Home Designer Pro that we use in order to build these out. It's very user-friendly to use. You still have to do all the measurements yourself. So like this measurement that says 12 foot, 10 inches, like you actually have to measure that yourself. If you want to use it yourself, then one way to do it is to go get some graph paper and a laser measurer, and then just basically make a rough sketch of the property and then get all the measurements you can, and then go on Home Design Pro and do it yourself. One thing that I've recommended to a lot of people is get the graph paper out, do all the measurements yourself, and then go to Upwork or a place like Upwork and find a VA or somebody that is good at Home Design Pro and give the graph paper to them to do the Home Design Pro for you. And you'd be surprised. You could probably get it done for between like 10 and 20 bucks. And instead of paying hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to an architect to do this for you. But you are subject to your own measurements. So if you mess up your measurements, it's your fault. So, but that's what we use. So no more sharing the screen. The Alex Camacho, right? Alex, what's up, man? So the Alex is a buddy of mine. We actually met because of Brandon Turner. We met in Maui last year. And so this guy is a baller down in the LA, South California area, doing lots of wholesaling, acquisitions. Guy's an awesome dude. Reach out to him, become friends with him. So shared driveways do deter some buyers. So you need to account for that in your ARV, right? Excellent point. Absolutely. Right? Especially if your neighborhood's a dick, for lack of a better word. And this particular, neighborhood, but your neighbor, sorry, BP. This neighbor had yelled at some of the people because they drove and parked their car. So yes, this is an issue. One of the feedback we got was that the agent and then the potential buyer would park in the driveway, and then the freaking neighbor would come right out and be like, whatever. And that doesn't feel very good when you're walking the house. So I asked my partner on the deal, I'm like, hey, we should probably go to his house and offer him like $2,000 after the house sells, and if the house sells, and if he stops being, jerk about it. So I've yet to follow up with my partner on it to see if he actually did that, but I would totally pay that neighbor $2,000 so he could shut his mouth up so that the house could sell and be done with it. But that's a suggestion too. Don't have a jerk neighbor. All right, so going through that, let's see where we got. Hey, I agree with you, Rob. You got caught flat-footed by a natural disaster. Your downside is greater than your up. Get out fast, even at break even. All right, so Rob, you're suggesting drop the price, fire sale this sucker, and move on with our lives. Anybody else agree with Rob? Right? I'm saying that our holding cost is $4,700 a month. Is there a suggestion that maybe the market continues to drop faster in that area, and that I need to cut and run as fast as possible so I don't lose my ass? Right? That's a very real concern. Right? Is that the right thing to do? Anybody else think so? And then, or is it just because we just got to wait another month or two and then make a decision? That's the $1 million question, or in this case, the $875,000 question in return. So what else we got? We got one guy says yes. All right, Peter, agree with Rob. A couple people are saying, all right, the worst is yet to come, and that could be true. So I don't know, but good questions on that. So that said, if you guys like videos like this, I might do a follow-up. Actually, I probably will do a follow-up on this one later once the house sells. If you guys have any buyers, send them their way, right? You can sell the address. And if you want to live in West Seattle. But if you guys want more videos like this, let me know. We can do more properties as well. Let's see, Flip Masters. That's a good name. Your parents knew what you were going to be in the future, probably, Mr. Flip. And I want to meet your parents, like, if that's the case. So how do you get a last name Masters and a first name Flip, right? Love it, right? Anyway, what about renting it until the market returns and then selling it? That's a good question, right? Renting it out. Now, in our market, let's go back to, what does the Zillow machine say for what we can rent it out for? The Zillow says we can rent it. Actually, I don't even know where to see that on Zillow. All right, maybe I do somewhere. Let me just have you guys wait awkwardly while I figure out what Zillow says. Maybe we can go back to sharing my screen and somebody can yell at me. All right, here you go. Where does it say the rent? It usually says it here somewhere, right? I don't know. Whatever. If I had to guess for what it can rent, here we go. That's monthly cost. Nope. Rent estimate. There you go. Let's teach you something about Seattle, right? Prices are expensive for the houses, but rents aren't. So rents are not as expensive as everybody on social media would make you out to believe. This house, I think, is low for $2,850. It actually would probably rent out for $3,400 to $3,500 a month, and that's probably realistically what it rent out for. Because if you can pay more than that for rent, you're probably going to go buy the house instead. And so about $3,500 a month, maybe $4,000, but I highly doubt that right now. And if you do the math on that, we would be at a negative cash flow for sure on this property. And we got $175,000 cash into it. We also bought it for $540,000. And so 540. So we got, what is that? 600, 700. So a little over $700,000 in holding costs on that thing, or sorry, in cash into it. So plus also our finance costs and everything as well. So you throw all that in there, this thing's a negative cash flow all day. And I'd rather just sell it and move on. Because go back to the point with one of the people said, and we can stop sharing the screen. Back to one of the things that one of the people said was cut and run, right? So we're in this business for the long run, yes, but also we do volume. So if your business is to make all your money on one deal, then yes, do everything you can to save what you can on this property. But if you have a bucket that has a hole in the bottom of it, right, and you keep filling that bucket up with water, sooner or later you got to throw the bucket away and get a new bucket, right? And that's kind of my analogy on when it comes to fix and flips or rentals or whatever it might be. Sometimes you're just going to go, we're not going to save this bucket, so let's just get rid of it and move on with our lives. So for this particular house, I'm not there yet, and we aren't in this business to make all our money on one deal. We're in this business to make lots of money over time on lots of deals, right? Including our rentals and everything that we keep as well in this business. So yeah, sooner or later, I might have to cut and run on this property and move, right? And maybe make $5,000 on it, maybe make no money on it, maybe lose 10, 20 grand on it. But I'm not in this business to hold on to leaky buckets. And I will make my money up somewhere else if that's the case. And that's what a big message that I want to make sure people hold on to, because I've seen too many people in this business lose way more money because they waited too long to sell, or they held on too high of a price point and it cost them more. And I've been one of those people before in the past. I'm not there yet on this one yet, but I'll do an update once it gets under. Actually, I won't do it when it gets under contract because I don't want to jinx it. I'll do it once it's like sold, right? And I'll give you guys an update on that. All right, got time for maybe one more question, possibly. Weight does not typically result in higher price sale in Seattle. Beth, 3% price drop if no low showing activity. Waiting does not typically result in higher sale prices in Seattle. I agree with you, Beth. Some people go like lower at $5,000. Well, that's not gonna do anything. So I definitely agree with what you're saying on that. We just lowered it at $25,000 just a couple of days ago. So we're hoping that increases activity. I know we've had more activity on it, but I don't think it's been enough. So we'll see how that works too. So what else we got? I think that is, I think people are tired of gray houses, right? You might be right on that, right? People might be tired of gray houses. I think every house we do is gray right now, or looks gray to me. For those of you guys that know, I'm partially colorblind. That's why all my shirts are gray and everything's brown and all that kind of stuff. But that could be the point. Hope you guys enjoyed this. We'll do future ones. Next week, we got another great panel that we're going to bring to you guys as well. If you guys have seen those past videos, check out everything BiggerPocket has. BiggerPockets is always doing these live videos every single week, multiple times a week from lots of different contributors. Stay tuned for those. Go on their YouTube channel as well. BiggerPockets has tons of content that's coming out, and check out everything that's going on with BP. They're an amazing organization. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe. You can follow me, Tarl, at Fixated. You can follow me. Don't do that. You can follow me at Tarl Yarber on Instagram, and also my company at Fixated RE if you want to see our projects and things that we got going on Instagram.